What energetic contracts are coming to an end as a result of this Blake Lively scandal? Hello, I'm Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive, and welcome to your pop culture reading for today. We're going to kind of just sort of do this Stacy style and see what comes up and comes through. So I'm going to pull a card from the Four Tails Tarot deck to answer this particular question. And I feel like it is an important question to ask because what happens to one happens to all. And even though we are sitting and watching Blake Lively's choices and I want to say the implosion of her life, there's a lot that we can learn from it by way of saying, maybe I don't want to do this anymore, or this isn't the path for me, or wow, I always had a feeling about her, but I never put my finger on it. And this is validation. So the card that I pulled around this is the Fool card. And it's very interesting that we're pulling the Fool. And I find this interesting because the Fool is all about that blind leap of faith, the new journey, but it also indicates, I want to say, a level of innocence or naivete. And I feel like energetically, or when we're talking about this Blake Lively scandal, she was very naive in this. She really feels, quite frankly, like her shit doesn't stink. And the Fool journey was her really believing that the road was going to rise up to meet her if she was doing all of these nasty, horrible things to other people, that she was, expressing her insecurity and that somehow, because of her connections or, whatever, that somehow she was going to be above the rest of humanity. And energetically, I feel like she's getting a slap from the universe. She's getting that, I want to say, that soul contract lesson to say, all right, you had your fun, you had your day, and now it's time to pay the piper. And so I feel like energetically, the soul contract that's coming up is she is going to have the opportunity to do this over. But she's going to come at it more from that pauper's perspective. She's going to have to do this all over again, starting from scratch with nothing. And yeah, she might, in this next lifetime that she, chooses to live, she might be able to build herself up to that level of fame and fortune. But the energy that she's going to bring in with her for that lifetime is going to be that she has to do that with a lot of struggle, perhaps to bring about more compassion into her space and her life and her journey, so that she doesn't choose to walk all over people or choose to live in fear and to treat everybody as an adversary. Instead, to stand in collaboration rather than in competition. I also feel, I just keep hearing, like, not that Source has abandoned her, but I feel like that's what she's tapping into, is she feels like Source has abandoned her. Source Energy's abandoned her, because in her mind, she was really pursuing what she felt was the best approach to getting her needs met and her desires met. She's coming from a place of fear. And so I feel like, the little dog, when we're looking at this picture here, you're only seeing a portion of the dog. So the dog is kind of like, I'm watching you, but I'm not necessarily sure I want to follow you on this journey. And so I feel like that's kind of where that, feeling abandoned by Source. But she abandoned Source. She's the one who abandoned Source in her journey to pursue her ego-driven desires. She left Source on the curb. So I feel like from a soul contract perspective, she's seeing it in the opposite way. And what's going to transpire for her in that next lifetime is, okay, yeah, you get a do-over, but you're going to see it from the other perspective that, oh, I'm the one who abandoned myself. I'm the one who paved this path for me. And collectively, we can all learn from this. We can all take a page from that. When do we abandon ourselves? When do we step more into the egoic desires and the pursuits of the egoic desires over the desires of what intuitionally and inspirationally is coming through, so that we can live our highest and best joy? I feel like that's the big question here. All right, that is our pop culture reading for today. There'll be another one tomorrow. We will see you on the flip side, and transform well.